Hey guys, and welcome back to Content is Profit. Today, extra special day. I have a surprise guest for everybody that we've been waiting for a long time. And today I was on a call. I was like, you know what? We should do this together live on a podcast. So guys, help me welcome the one and only Fonzie.
Let's go. We back, baby. We're back,
baby. Yes. For those OGs, you guys hopefully remember Fonzie. For those that have been, tuning into my solo episodes, just know that there's nothing better than my solo episodes. But when Fonzie comes, still gold, still good.
I bring the fire, I bring the heat.
Welcome back. Yeah, Fonzie, the original co-host of Content is Profit. We're trying to get him back.
The original co-host. I'm still the co-host.
You're still the co-host. The other beast.
I just haven't been present for a while. I just went out to get some milk. I haven't been back since.
Yes. Yeah. Quick update. And I mean, everybody in Business Creator Club have seen you. So if you're not a part of it, go to Business Creator Club. Come join us because every Thursday, at the time of the release of this episode, a little bit later today, 11 a.m. Eastern, we have office hours and we jump on and we collaborate. And then we provide a bunch of wins between the community, to keep moving the needle forward when it comes to content and your business. So Fonzie, dude, I'm excited to have you back on the show. Hopefully we make this I'm making it easy for you, man. You're like, you can just plug in anywhere.
Appreciate it. I mean, there's nothing like recording live, being in the same space is always the best energy wise. But, this is what we do right now here at my house. It is what it is, let's get it rolling.
What it is.
I think you noticed the passion of the topic when we were talking about it. And you're like, you know what? Why don't you come join me? And I was like, all right, but I got to put the baby to sleep first.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive into it, right? Context. This past weekend, some big launch happened. For those that are not familiar with Alex Hormozi, he launched the third book in his series, almost like the business Bible after Ultimate Sales Machine. Shout out to Amanda Holmes. And they sold over 3 million copies. So obviously in the industry, that has caused quite a stir in the online community. And some things have surfaced that are dirty as hell. So
wait. Why has it caused a stir?
Well, I mean, I think there's a bunch of elements. And, I spoke a little bit about it on the last episode and the materials, but I think it crossed $100 million in sales. I think it's the first time ever that an online webinar does that. The way that he ran his campaign and promotion was pretty unique to him. So everybody that was familiar with him kind of expected that, but it also got to like new audiences and new people. And, I understand that trust for online, creators or people that sell stuff online is very low at the moment. So I think that has it created more conversation around that. But at the same time, he released a ton of materials and products, and there were different upsells that he offered inside of that. One being a $6,000 offer, the other one being a $28,000 offer, and I think there was like a $250,000 offer on the back end for people to take advantage on. So I think for the people that purchased those, big wins. But for the people that could not afford it, or maybe did not understand kind of where his background or where he's coming from or what he really wants to do with these books, it created a ton of backlash. In a way, I don't think he cares personally.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't care at all. Yeah.
But it's creating like all this conversation online, and me and Fonzie were talking about it because we invested in one of those products, and we've been consuming a lot of the content. And for us specifically, is gonna move the needle forward big time. I think for the first time in how many months, we both felt like we were both on the same page when it comes to the business. So we're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
So for us, like that alone, I mean, we were on a 4-hour workshop that was included in one of those offers yesterday. Kind of like walking through our business model, not how to sell, not how to market, like the business specifically, and the structure of the business, and what is the constraint that we need to tackle first to move the needle forward. So for us already has been a big win, and I can't wait for the next, we're talking about it. This is going to be our Bible for the next 90 days to continue to execute, right?
Next year.
Next year. I thought 3 years, and then I said 90 days, but Yeah. And then for those, by the way, we also have a free copy. If you're interested, go to businesscreator.club. If you sign up for the first, 30 days for free, you can come hang out with us, but you also get a copy of that book. We have 200. We've given some away already. It's completely free. I think you only pay for the shipping. So just sign up, send me a quick email, and it'll be on your way. So yeah, you can be a part of it completely free. This is so fun. All right, Fonso. Well, that was my take on it. What's your kind of like take, and then how can we maybe apply it? I think we titled this how to lose respect online.
Yeah, I mean, so how to lose respect online. We're actually going to be talking about some offers some people have been putting away right in the Hormozi trend, right? Of course, when you make 100 million online, when you sell 3 million books in 24 hours or so, when you become the Guinness World Record holder for fastest selling book, you're gonna, create a lot of noise, right? So a lot of people are kind of like latching onto that trend. In my own personal opinion, some people doing it the right way, some people doing it not very much in the right way. And that's what we're going to be covering today on like how to lose, respect or your authority online. Now, my take on why do I think it kind of like caused a little bit of, ruffling feathers is, I mean, first, there's always going to be haters, right? And I think a lot of people, they've misinterpreted in a way, I guess. He used to start his video saying, I'm Alex Hormozi and I'm here. I'm not going to sell you anything, right? And he did that for years, right? He delivered so much value. So when finally he put on an offer, people were like, I thought you weren't going to sell us anything, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, hey, dude, like he earned the right. He earned the trust of the marketplace by hustling for years, building his stuff, showcasing how he did it, and then putting all this content out for free. Like he has more than a right to put this stuff out, right? So again, a lot of haters, but what are you going to say?
No, I think, well, one of the things that every single book that he did was a case study of like the concepts that he did inside of the book. He's like, I want the book to be the demonstration that this system works, which I think is super interesting, right? So his first book was offers. I think it was like $1 or free. At one point, it's like how to create an offer that people said, feel stupid saying no to. And that was one of them. The second book was the leads. So the promotion that they used to promote the book was every single concept that they had in there. And they also sold a bunch of copies. And then the last one with money models, he's kind of showing that system. But I think part of it is obviously, what are we here for? I think there's a lot of people in his audience were legit business owners, right? We saw a lot of brick and mortar people calling in and they have like business and they're interested in growing their business, but you also have this lurking audience. I feel like that it's like the biggest fear of everybody probably going online, which is they're going to rip me off. They're going to grab my content and they're going to, copy it exactly word by word, or they're going to, grab my IP and then resell it. And there's like that audience, because this launch was massive, that's there ready to grab. And an example I saw was like 2 days later, this guy full on paid Facebook ads ran basically a campaign to be like, hey, I paid for the $6,000 offer, which came from not only the workshop and AI solution and also workbooks. And I'm selling you all the workbooks for just $300. Right. So
I'm going to say here, I want to stop you real quick. You're like fast forwarding a little bit, because I was just making reference to the previous question of like, what did it ruffle some feathers? I think you're talking now already on the how to lose respect, right? As some sort of creator. So I mean, I'm just gonna wrap up the previous one on, like why was it such a such a thing, I guess. And I'm just going to mention that, like, the same as there's a lot of negativity around it, there's also so much positivity around it, right? A lot of business owners that really get inspired, especially obviously marketers, is kind of like their 4-minute mile in a sense, For those that don't know, 4 minute mile is, I think his name was Robert Bannister. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it was the first time that somebody ever ran 1 mile under 4 minutes, right? People thought it was like impossible. It cannot be done. This guy did it. And after that guy did it, literally a whole bunch of people started breaking that same record, right? Why is that? Because because people started thinking, oh, it is possible, right? If somebody else can do it, I can do it too. And I think maybe in the online world of, webinars, presentations, whatever, maybe there was this gap of, $1 million a day. I feel like that was the thing, or like people talk about, I want to do my $1 million a day, and like some people have already done it, right? The first one that we ever heard doing that was Russell Brunson. I think he did it at the 10X conference with Grant Cardone. He did $1 million a day, and everybody was like raving about it. After that, I already heard about a lot of people doing $1 million days. So I think for Alex to do $100 million, kind of like a 4 minute mark for a lot of people, right? Are we gonna start seeing a whole bunch of people doing 100 million? I don't know. Maybe in the future. I personally, I doubt it. I don't think it's gonna happen as much. But people already think it is possible, right? Maybe I cannot do 100, but I can do 10 million, whatever. I think so. From that side of things, is very, very inspiring. Now, to move on to what you were talking about, ripping contents, all these things. How the conversation started between you and me was that, we were talking how some people are riding this trend by literally just sharing the knowledge that Alex gives. Their whole premise is, I spent $6,000, so you don't have to. Here are the resources. Or I spent 24 grand, so you don't have to. Here are the resources. And I told you, in my mind, that is the fastest way to lose respect, all sort of credibility as a creator, business owner. Because if I'm following you, or, I'm interested in what you have to offer in your solutions, product, service, whatever, is because of you, like the content in your mind, your knowledge, your insights, right? Like you are the only ones that have insights. There's nothing wrong with obviously learning from Alex, but then like apply your own insights to it. How can you either improve it, make it your own, and then you can share about that? But just like strictly ripping the content off and be like, yeah, like I know this is going to get me a bunch of leads. So I can get a whole bunch of leads by offering this, but I'm like, okay, what is the quality of the leads? Like these leads are interested in Alex or not interested in you. And now the content that you're putting out there, in my eyes, I'm thinking this guy has no insights. This guy is just stealing this stuff, or a copycat, whatever. Like I don't want to listen to this guy. So for me, that's the fastest way to lose respect, right? What would be the right way, the right approach? The right approach, personally, would be to put your opinions and your insights on what you're consuming, right? Frame it as, hey, look, I did spend $6,000 to learn all this stuff. I'm going to share with you my top 10 insights about this that can help you, your business, go from X to Z, right? Like, especially because you're talking, your audience might be totally different than somebody else's, right? Or whatever, something along those lines. But you need to definitely have insights and not just be straight up copying this thing. The analogy I gave you was, for me, is the same thing as having AI create your content, right? I'm like, that's like the fastest way for me to not trust you online. If you make a post saying how in the last month, all your content has been written by AI, even if, and I will say this, even if I like your content, or if I read it and I was like, damn, this is good, I will lose trust towards you as a whole, because I'm like, well, it's not you the one putting this content out, And I know people are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, well, but what if they train the GPT with my own voice, my whole thing, and I put it out there, and like it just creates a use in my knowledge. I'm like, it's not the same, because at the end of the day, like when you are the one that turns your knowledge, your own thoughts into words, like that truly demonstrates that you know the thing, right? Like if you cannot clearly explain something, you don't really know the thing. So if you have AI doing that for you, maybe, sure, you said it in an interview, maybe you didn't explain it that well, but the AI is the one that like synthesizes information and like they package it properly and they delivered it. For me, that is saying, well, you don't know how to do that, right? Like if I need your help with whatever the AI is putting here, if I go to you and we start having this conversation, you might not be able to express those ideas and help me with my problems. Therefore, I'm losing trust in you.
Yeah. I mean, obviously two different things there. Not different. I mean, I think they're part of the same bucket. You know my thoughts on AI. I'm a big fan of the fact that it can speed up the process, right? I do agree with you. It's like, okay, the output that AI can give you, for example, exactly like that, based on like, because you trained it and maybe you said it something else or somewhere else, and the AI reframed it based on your training, your voice. I agree with you on that side. What I think like a lot of creators, especially right now, because we see a lot of people creating from scratch, or, starting on that process to put their thoughts into words and putting it out there online in the world, right? Because they might be the experts in whatever topic and they just want to share it. I just think AI has a role in facilitating that. It's just, we have to be like very careful, like you said, on not letting AI do, the final output, right? Check it, revise it, like put in your thoughts, put in the hours to master the craft at the end of the day. And then you can, find the constraint within your content system. And it's like, okay, why can't I do this? Is that constraint solved by me, by somebody else, is by AI? But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, where is that line? I feel like, right, at the end of the day. And I think that line will be defined by the trust of the audience at the end of the day. Because like, let's say, they start consuming that content and they come on a conversation with you or on a call or an event, and then they ask those questions, and then you don't know really how to answer. You really don't know how to really help that person. Then that's it. Game over. Like that person is not coming back to you at all. And then the negative rapport that was built there is a consequence, and it could hurt your business. Right. So at the end of the day, I think, that short-term satisfaction of riding a marketing wave and creating content around this stuff, or selling, short-term, the books or the programs for a cheaper, so you can do that. Like, what is that? What is the objective long-term for that? Is that, first, I don't think that's ethical. Second, I think it's just going to hurt your business and your brand, your personal brand, more than anything. And
I have 2 points in here. I got to share 2 points. First, let me clarify. It's not like, I am kind of anti-AI in a lot of things, but
you're an artist. I think it's because you're an artist.
No, but I do accept that AI is useful for certain tools, right? Like, can it help you speed up certain processes? 100%, but like, we see it all the time. We get pitches on our email that we read them and we're like, dude, this thing is clearly AI. I know you didn't listen to this episode, right? And we ask him, oh, what was the favorite part of your episode? Never answer back.
Nothing.
Right. So like that type of things for me, it's a no-go. Now, I'm sure there's other type of AI tools. Like I love generative, I'm probably mispronouncing this, AI in Photoshop, right? So you can expand pictures and, when you're creating thumbnails and stuff, you can use that to enhance your picture, make it look a little bit different. I love that. That is absolutely amazing. But again, if you are using it to be your creative engine, right, what you're putting out there and you're like what's people facing your message, if that is AI, I think you have a big problem, right? And the problem is that you need to be the one that is putting your thoughts out there. You cannot be, again, diluting your brand like that way. Personally, I would honestly prefer if I get the Facebook post is like, hey, this actually was created with AI based on this conversation. I would be more willing to read that than actually the person pretending that it was them that they wrote it, something like that. Like, hey, this was reading from AI from this. And maybe at the end, there's a PS that is like, hey, look, now this is not AI. This is me personally. And just, if you don't want to write more than 3 sentences, you can just write 3 sentences in there. But I think that actually makes, for me personally, I'll be like, well, at least this person is honest, like they'll go higher up on my list. And then I wanted to make a second point and I forgot what it was.
Well, I want to, while you do that, I want to show you something.
Wait.
Okay.
What was it that you meant? I need a primer. What were we talking about? I forgot what it was now.
It's okay. That memory. All right. Maybe this will prime it. I want to show you something here. Keep your eyes on the screen. This guy right here. So, for those that are listening, right? This is Facebook post says worth $420,000 worth of business playbooks. You watch Alex Hormozi's launch and didn't want to invest $6,000. I got you covered. You're getting $100 million offers, leads, lost chapters and journals, full funnels, VSL, scripts, scaling system, bonus, free physical copy on the $100 million. Right?
Coffee,
yeah. Proven frameworks, all for $497. Access today, limited availability. So this is one of the examples, right? Tell me your thoughts.
I remember what I wanted to say, and it goes hand in hand with this. So this was a perfect primer.
You're welcome.
The primer was that it's karma, dude. Honestly, and I know it. I don't know if the word is just like straight up integrity or just honesty, but I used to be the guy that was like, I would see an ad of somebody selling some sort of course, and then I'll be like, "Oh, dude, can I rip it off? Can I find it somewhere for free? Can I find a torrent of this and I can download it for free?" Right? Yeah. And
well, I think
I know it's not. One second. I don't think it's an excuse, right? But like that was part of our upbringing in a sense, right? And by that I mean, back home when we wanted music, we would go to like LimeWire and download the music for free. And it was totally normal. We would burn CDs and that was totally normal. We literally had a store like 5 minutes from our house. It was a brick and mortar that they sold burned DVDs.
Counterfeit movies,
counterfeit movies. And we would literally see cops walking on the store and buying all this stuff, right? So like, again, not excuse, but for us, it was very, very normal, kind of like that thing. But I think that just literally builds a lacking mindset on the person that is purchasing, right? Because like I eventually realized this when I was like looking for this course. I was like, you know what? Like this is kind of like bad karma. Like if I cannot afford the real thing, I'm like, well, I cannot afford. My mind was, I cannot afford this. I have that lacking mentality. Let me see if I can steal it. Let me see if I can go get it somewhere else. I'm like, you need an abundance mindset, right? Is instead of let me see where I found it is, okay, how can I make it? Like if I really want to invest in this, okay, how can I make it work? Maybe you need to be resourceful in the sense that you need to call the person that is selling the product. They put you in a payment plan, etc. I don't know, right? Maybe, guess what? It is not time for you to buy or invest into that course at that moment, but now you feel good with yourself because you have integrity and you're like, you know what? I didn't rip that shit off. I didn't steal it off. And I'm going to build until I can invest in that thing. So that was my point. My point is like, look inside, right? Like, do you have this lacking mindset or do you have an abundant mindset? And also your integrity, right? Are you gonna would you like if you, let's say your business grows and you have resources, whether that is courses, coaching, etc., that you're selling to other people, how would you feel if other people rip it off from you and they're just selling it for a fraction of time? I bet you would be pissed off, right? Yeah. I know I would be pissed off.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the talk online has been not just with this, but in general, it's like, okay, how can we be resourceful, right? In a sense, but I think the mentality is like, how can we be resourceful ethically at the end of the day? Because, that comes back to you 10 times fold, right? Whether you do the good thing, it comes back 10 times fold. Whether you do the bad thing, it will come back to you 10 times fold, right? And I think also, us coming from a country like Venezuela, or what I've seen a lot is people in the international markets that, obviously monetary wise, that is a hefty investment to make, even for people here in the US. that might not be the most accessible. And, that company has their reasons on why they presented it that way, and then explain it on why they did it that way. But it's like, okay, resourcefulness in other countries might mean at a cultural level, stick it to the man, right? Stick it to these people that are there in the first world type deal. And, there's a lot of, I don't want to call it baggage, but there's like some, cultural influence in how people act in a general way, right? So if your culture is used to, hey, I want to, and I'm going to speak for Venezuelans, right? We're always trying to find the better deal or these things, right? And I think that is changing for a lot of people, that mentality, and it's helping, but that might be an element of that, right? And that will show up online. So for those that want to create, for those that, have information to share, just know that that's one of the consequences of putting this content out there. And it's not for everybody, right? I think like the first line in the book, Alex mentioned, is like, you gotta grow a thick skin, because it's gonna get hard pretty quickly, right? And I think that's part of like what he's referring. And we see a lot of, we had the fortune to help and support a lot of starting creators, especially on the podcast studio. And it's interesting to see the personal growth that happens with it. So if you're listening to that and you're, excited and motivated and inspired to put your message out there, just know that this is part of the game, right? And we need to learn how to play the game at the end of the day, and do this. But at the end of the day, don't go to the other side and do these bad things, because they will come back to you in a very negative way.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's some good food for thought for people, here that are listening right now, that made it this far, as yourself, right? Whether like, how would you react in that situation? Or maybe do you feel the urge to go find, a ripped off option, and then were you a person of integrity and decided, you know what, I'm not going to make it a different way. I'm going to put in the effort. And guess what? Like, that investment might not be the one for you at this stage. And that is totally okay. Like, if you cannot invest in certain things that call your attention, right, that you think they can help you, maybe you need to look a step lower and be like, okay, well, what is that other resource that can help me get to X point so that I can invest in, that coaching or with that other person. And it's totally okay.
Yeah. Here's another example. I guess like the video masterclass, which by the way, like all the courses for the books are completely free. That's the other thing. Like, people can all access it, but I think they're on this one specifically that I'm showing on screen right now. So if you're listening, you can go to YouTube, but they're sharing the AI access, which was one of the bonuses for like the $6,000 offer. Right. And look how many likes this thing has, like 906 likes, and then 160 shares, ton of comments, and what I'm thinking here is I see a lot of people that might not be from the US specifically, but they're also like super grateful that this thing happened, right? At the end is, and as I was going through this, I'm like, this is like the Robin Hood effect, I guess. It's like, on the information.
It could be.
It could be. And you know what? It's such a gray area. And such an interesting, I guess, discussion, because I'm sure like if Alex is or the owner, because of his mission is to help as many businesses as possible, I think he's going to be,
I feel like he'll be okay with it.
He could be okay with this, right? At the end of the day, right? Because these are people that might take this content and use it. And at the end of the day, he's building also goodwill with the people that are consuming his content and using his frameworks and his things. Yeah. So I think for him, it's like this crazy wave where, perfect. Like, he's not looking, obviously he sold a ton, and he's helping those guys and girls in a very high level aspect. But then there's like the consequence of all his content being out there, whether that's free, paid or not, because his business model is not getting paid for this information. His business model is he's investing in businesses, right? It's a different thing. Yeah. Then his actual mission is help as many people as possible. So we see this and we're like, wow, like all these thousands of people now have access to this thing. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. It's such an interesting discussion to have.
Yeah, I like your take. I like your take. Like it makes a lot of sense. And I do genuinely believe that Alex would be like, you know what? I'm actually, he might be happy, he might be like, well, that's incorrect. That it's not morally right to do, but he's happy that he's still influencing and maybe helping a lot of people. my own personal take on this is like kind of like what I said, right? Like, unfortunately, I know there's cultural differences and circumstances all over, but again, the mindset of liking and approaching it on that way when you're purchasing something is like, how is that going to affect when you're doing business too? Are you gonna try to look up for shortcuts when you're building something, right? And I think that is the point, right? Like, what is what is your foundation, your values, that like if they get represented here, right, and you are trying to take shortcuts to purchase this thing, to get access to something, those values, they're still, you're not gonna be, now your values change when you're doing business. Like, that is going to be your values in there. So when you're negotiating with somebody, are you going to try to, do something that is not right? Probably, again. So I think it takes a look internal to be, again, and that is the challenge. 100%. I accept that it's difficult for people that are not in the US, that there's, maybe different purchasing power in different countries, and they have access to internet and they see Alex and they're like, oh, I want to be like that and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm not saying that everybody that does that doesn't have values too. I'm not generalizing. I'm not putting everybody in a bucket, right? But again, my opinion. And the other thing is, Tony Robbins, he says it a lot, is like, people say information is power, but at the end of the day, it's like information is potential power. Like knowledge is potential power. You need the execution, So, and that's the other thing. A lot of people that just get their hands on this thing, they just want the information and they will probably most likely never do anything with it. Yeah.
Such a cool topic. Fonzie, dude, thank you for jumping on the phone with me. I'm priming this episode. Obviously, topical thing.
We hit it up.
Yeah, I would love for people, like, if you got to this point, by the way, thank you so much. Come join us, businesscreator.club. We can continue to have these conversations and how do we apply the content frameworks ethically for you and your business to continue to grow. I think that that has been interesting discussions in our office hours every Thursday. And on top of that, you get a free book, fully ethically. We pay for it. It's on us. Go ahead and go take it. And I would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, we come from that third world country. We have our own story. We have our own things. We have our own lessons that we've learned. And, it got to, there was a point where, maybe we didn't have any other choice, right? Maybe you're in that position, right? We would love to hear from you at the end of the day and keep this conversation open. And then as a business owner, understand that that's a scenario that could happen, right? At the end of the day. So why, I think is a moment for us to reflect of why are we doing what we do? How are we delivering, like, the thing, like, who are we actually helping? And so these things don't get to us and stop, us from creating incredible products that can help the world. So super fun, Fonzie. Welcome back to Content is Profit. Hopefully we do this. Maybe I can trick you into more of these.
Yeah. I don't have the nice setup at the house, but it's definitely fun. I missed it.
Yeah, sounds good. Any last thoughts?
No, go crush it. Maybe I said no, and then I did give some thoughts. So yes, I do. Last thoughts, more like an action point. If you listen all the way here and you find yourself in that position, do some reflecting. Ask yourself, what are your values? What do you value in yourself, in other people? What do you want to embody with your actions, and then act accordingly, right? Because at the end of the day, like, people also get attracted for who you are. And if you want to be surrounded by people with incredible values, people that are action takers and all this stuff, you got to embody that thing yourself. So again, it's time for reflection.
Sweet. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning to the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite podcasting platform and on social media at BizBrosGo. Wow, it came out naturally. I have not reading that. And that's like, I haven't done that outro in so long.
Let's go.
All right, let's go, guys. See you in the next episode. Take care.
See ya.